he's just trying to have prayer service. And here she comes mocking him, but confirming him. Because what she says is, he's a real servant. And I don't know why you don't like listening to your enemies. I don't know why you don't like listening to your haters. Because sometimes they speak correctly about you. They might be getting on your nerves, but if you listen sometimes, the Lord will even use them to give you a prophetic word. But when she got on his nerves enough, he began to keep serving because he cast the spirit out of her. And I don't know who I'm talking to in here tonight that need to go home boldly tonight and tell somebody, I ain't playing this year. I've been lukewarm with your behind for the last 2 years. But I went to Watchnight service and got a bonus that came over me in the text. And I'm telling every devil in my house, you got to get out, and you got to get out this hour. Who am I talking to in here that needs to go back to your job next week and just look at the spirit in your boss and make up in your mind, I'm finna get bold up in this office. Fire me if you want to, but that devil finna go. I don't know who I'm talking to in here that needs to get some boldness and stop playing with the devil and let the devil know I'm on the battlefield for my Lord. Yes, I'm on the battlefield for my Lord, and I promise him that I would serve him till I die. I'm on the battlefield for my Lord. I used to hear Big Mama say, God can't use no coward soldiers. Do me a favor, look at your neighbor and say, neighbor, this year in 2012 I'm gonna serve bold. I ain't afraid to shout in Walmart. I'm not afraid to witness in Target. I'm not afraid to pray for a crackhead. I'm gonna serve him with boldness. Shout it! Paige, you so pushing me too soon. I ain't ready to go yet. Y'all please sit down, but tell that neighbor I ain't scared. I ain't scared this year. I ain't scared this year. I took some mess. I suffered in silence. I ain't scared this year. I'm speaking up this year. I'm talking to that devil. Y'all ain't saying nothing. This year. Please, y'all sit down. So one thing that will open doors is serving. But my brothers and sisters, another thing that will cause doors to open up for you is your ability to survive the beatdown. Verse number 23 says, it says in chapter 16, and when they had laid many stripes upon them, they cast them into prison, charging the jailer to keep them safely. My brothers and sisters, you may not see it, but it's in the text. In order to throw them in prison, they had to open the door. My brothers and sisters, in order for them to need to throw him into prison, he had to survive the beatdown. Because if they had killed him, they wouldn't have put him in prison. They would have buried him. And I'm not really sure who I'm talking to tonight. I might just be having an audible conversation with myself. But if it ain't, but one thing I did right this year, I survived the beatdown. Oh my God. I don't know if I'm just talking to myself, but oh, they whipped me and beat me all year long. But I survived. How can you say you survived the beatdown, preacher? I'm still here. Clothed in my right mind, not in a mental institute, with a white jacket on, singing Yankee Doodle. Why don't you look at your neighbor and say, neighbor, one reason why doors were open for you is because you survived the beatdown. Now shake your neck and your head and tell them, I'm still here. I feel like preaching here. You must didn't look at the right neighbor. Find somebody else. They may be in front of you or behind you, but say, neighbor, if I didn't do but one thing right this year, I survived the beatdown. They left me for dead. I was bleeding and crying. Had some cracked ribs and 2 black eyes. But I'm still here. And since I'm still here, the Lord is getting ready to open some doors for me and my house. Ain't nobody happy but me. Do me one more favor and say, neighbor, you might as well get ready, because the worst is over and the best is yet to come. Ain't nobody happy but me. High five your neighbor and say, neighbor, neighbor, oh, neighbor, I'm ready for the best, because I survived the beatdown. Y'all done pushed me too much. Feel like preaching here. I gotta get out of here. Put me in C sharp. Let me get out of here. Bless your name, Jesus. Y'all do me a favor. Let me close this message. I told you that there were 3 things that you could do to cause doors to open for you in 2012. The first thing I told you was serve boldly. But not only serve boldly, don't forget to survive the beatdown. But the third thing you can do to cause doors to open in your life is you've got to learn how to utilize sound as a barometer. I gotta get out of here, y'all. I said you've got to learn how to use sound as a barometer. The Bible says in verse number 25, and at midnight Paul and Silas prayed and sang praises unto God, and the prisoners heard them. So the text lets us know that they didn't pray and sing in silence because other people heard what they were doing. Maybe you ain't happy because you don't know what a barometer is. But if you don't know, I looked it up for us. Bless your name, Jesus. A barometer is any instrument that measures atmospheric pressure. The second definition for a barometer is anything that indicates changes. And that's all I came by to tell you. When you use sound as as a barometer. The louder the sound, the bigger the change. I ain't got no help up in here. Is there anybody in here tonight? You know that your sound of praise can change the atmospheric pressure. Boy, y'all ain't happy in here. Feel like preaching here. Y'all looking at me like I'm about to go crazy. Give me about 2 more minutes and I'm going all the way crazy. Touch your neighbor and say, neighbor, use your sound. It would change things. Use your noise. It will change things. Use your praise and it'll change the atmosphere. I gotta get out of here, y'all. Let me go back to my original text. And suddenly there was a great earthquake, so that the foundation of the prison was shaken, and immediately all doors were open and everyone bands were loose. My brothers and sisters, you've got to understand that in a Roman prison, if the earthquake had only opened the door but didn't loose the bands, they still couldn't walk through an open door. If the door was closed but the bands were loose, they still wouldn't be able to walk through open doors. But the sound that they made was so powerful that it caused the earth to begin to quake, and 2 things happened. Doors were open, bands were loose. And I came by tonight to get about 100 of y'all to get ready to make a sound so that all doors will be open and all bands will be loosed. Maybe you ain't happy because you don't know what causes an earthquake. But Sister Heard, I Googled what causes an earthquake, and here's what it says. According to the Washington State Earthquake Hazard, Washington State Department of Natural Resources, bless your name, Jesus, Washington Division of Geology and Earth Resources, it said this report. It says an earthquake is the shaking of the ground caused by an abrupt shift of rock along a fracture in the earth, and it's called a fault, F-A-U-L-T. Within seconds, an earthquake releases stress that has slowly accumulated within the rock. Sometimes the stress has been in the rock for over hundreds of years. In other words, what causes an earthquake is the rock gets tired of holding on to stress and it releases itself from the stress. Look at your neighbor and say, neighbor, in 2012, the rock is ready to release stress from your life. But in this text, they made a sound. I ain't got no help up in here. Look at your neighbor and say, neighbor, we got some things in common with Paul and Silas. We've been in prison. We've been locked up. We've been beaten. But we also can make a sound. And it's almost midnight. And the Bible said at midnight, Paul and Silas prayed and praised God